Network, the Soul Food Book Club. And thank you for being with us. We are here today to discuss Get the Life You Love and Live It. We have the author of this wonderful book, Arvind Devalia, with us today. Hello, Arvind.
Hi again. Thank you for inviting me. And I'm glad you all managed to get copies of the book despite all the logistical challenges we had. But yeah, great to be here.
Yes, and Arvind, you are in...
I'm in not so sunny London right now. I was just saying that we came out of lockdown today, so it's nice to be moving forward. Yeah, it's been a strange year for all of us, and I think we're now coming to the end of that period, especially with the vaccine and good things are happening. So yeah, it's a good time to discuss this book, which is obviously the right sort of book for the new year, with all exercises in it. And I think all of you have been working your way through it as well. Some of you are up to chapter 13, 14. So well done.
Yeah, we're at different places in it. I'd like for everyone to just tell us their name that's on here. And if you want to let us know if you have the book and if you're getting into it and enjoying it.
Okay, I'm Jean. I'm Jean L'Oreal. I have a cough drop stuck to the roof of my mouth. I apologize. I'm Jean L'Oreal, and yes, I have the book. Actually, I have 3 of them, but that's a long story. Anyway, I'm loving the book. I'm in Texas, if nobody knows, and you've got to get this book, guys. You just have to. It's just so wonderful and so loving. You just have to get it.
Thank you, Jean.
You're welcome.
I am Linda Lemieux. I'm in Wellington, South Florida. I have the book. I'm very much enjoying it. I was thinking today it would be a nice holiday, Christmas or Hanukkah gift for people. Sometimes after the New Year's, people kind of hunker down and have time to read, but we do with COVID anyway. So, but I really like it. And good news, bad news, I finished it, but that's because I didn't do the work in the chapters. So I wanted to get an overview and go back. I thought about what I would write, but I was excited, so I wanted to read ahead. But now I want to go back and do the work. It's not work, the applications.
I'm Suzanne Millard, and yeah, I got the book, and I'm at chapter 14.
Excellent.
Suzanne is in Pennsylvania.
Yes.
Gosh, you got the most of the US. Remind me, Terry, where are you again?
Right now, at this moment, I'm in Colorado.
Wow, okay, so you got different states.
Making my way over to California. I'm hoping to be there by the middle of December if I don't detour to El Paso to see Jean first. So I'm waiting for word from the angels as far as my route. But yes, I do have the book, and I am working on the exercises in step 14, striving for excellence, and really need to have this discussion today about the things that are in the book and the things that are coming up for us as we work through some of these deep questions that Arvind has so generously shared of himself and led us to really look at some things in our life. So Arvind, I'm just going to turn this over to you to guide us in a discussion.
Sure. So I think if it's useful, I could just share a couple of things about the book, because the book's got 25 chapters, and someone who hasn't come across the book before, 25 might seem like a big number, but actually very short chapters. So each chapter is literally 2 pages of writing, and that's followed by 2 pages of exercises. So I actually call the book a playbook. It's not really a workbook, it's not a reading book, it's a playbook. You play with your life by going through the chapters. The chapters are each chapter is actually freestanding. So I know some of you have gone through it from the beginning, but you don't necessarily have to. You can easily dive into chapter 14, say, if you wanted to. But I think it helps if you go through chapters as they are. A lot of thought went into the way I sequence the chapters. So if you imagine a house, just going to, the book you have was previously called Get a Life, so I don't market this anymore. And on the front, you can see a big house. So I structured the book like a house. So if you're building your life the same way as we build a house, the first few chapters are about deciding what you want to build. And this is where your vision, your values, your life purpose, all those things come into it. And then you clear the ground. In other words, simplify your life, clear the clutter from your life, let go of people, things, commitments that don't work for you anymore. So you simplify your life, clear your clutter. And then the next section I got here is choose your building materials. What are you going to put into your life? So things like self-esteem, creating a spiritual foundation through appreciation, having a gratitude practice, learning to give to receive, having a positive mindset, and becoming confident. So these are your, if you like, your building materials for your life. So these chapters in this book, the original version, are the same as what you got now in the new book. So once you created your life, you know what you want. Once you made space for it, simplified your life. Once you put in your building materials, if you like, your spiritual foundation. I think all of us understand what I mean by that. And then you start building your life, learn your building techniques. So things like keeping your cool, learning to manage your money, striving for excellence, creating the work you want, enjoying the work you want. And then you get into action because you know what you want, you made space for it in your life, you created a foundation and you prepared for it. And that's when you get into action. And then once you built your house, once you built your life, if you like, you can then do various things to sustain it, such as chapter 18, taking extreme self-care, increasing your energy, having a work-life balance. And then I've said, get decorating. So that's all about enhancing your life you have through the people you have around you, the relationships you have, maybe some of you or all of you have a significant relationship in your life, you can have that. All those things come into it. And it's also a bit about how to make your existing relationships even better. And then the final thing I got here in the book you have as well is enjoying life and creating sunshine all year round. So once you got your life the way you want, and to me, that's one of the best chapters, 25, because it's all about celebrating your life. Approaching your life from a place of joy and celebration makes it all worthwhile. Otherwise, what's the point, right? So that's really a good overview of how the book originally came about. I've used the analogy or the metaphor of building a house. And then what happened is the original book title was called Get a Life. And a lot of people who liked the book, they didn't like to be seen reading such a book in public. They felt a bit intimidated that people would think by association that they didn't have a life at the moment. So at that time, I revised the book and I called it Get the Life You Love. And I made it much more substantial. I added a lot more content and ideas to it. And that's the book you have now. And people also ask me what's different about this book compared to all the other books out there in the personal development field. And I said, look, honestly, there are literally thousands of books like this out there, but there are two differences really. It's not a reading book. It's not a book that you people read, say they buy it at an airport or on the holidays, and then they never get back to it. This is a book, because the way I designed it, it almost forces people to take action from day one, because you're required to write in it, you're required to reflect on your life. And by the act of writing, it brings about change. And then the other reason I explain my book is different is that a lot of my own life stories integrated into it. It's not just me sharing, saying, do this, this, and this. I'm saying, look, this is where I messed up. This is what worked for me. And maybe you want to try that as well. So it's become a very personal book, and the feedback I've had, that people have said they really got to know me, even though they might not have ever met me. They feel they know me well because I'm very vulnerable and open in the book. It makes it much more relatable. And I don't know what your experiences have been like so far, but I've had feedback saying that people have literally written something And then a few weeks, few months down the line, some of those things they've put in there have happened. They've started taking action to change one or two things in their life. And then I've had one, she's actually a friend now. She hired me as a coach, but she now has 2 copies of the book and she leaves it by her bedside. And she's written all her answers in pencil over the years. And she said most of the things she wrote in the first copy of the book have now come through. So now she's working through it again to get an even better life than what she has. So I think the key thing is, like anything else, you just have to take some action in your life, getting some clarity about what you want, and then taking some action to move towards that. And the foundation, which I keep coming back to, is having some sort of spiritual foundation and some sort of approach of having joy in your life. Self-help, so self-care rather, self-care, having an attitude of having, creating joy in your life and looking out for others, contributing to others, all those things go into creating the foundation, which then helps you to do well in other areas of your life. So over to you guys. Any questions, or if you want to look at a particular chapter, like you mentioned, chapter 14.
Generally-
Oh, sorry.
I just want to say real quick, I wish I was 30 years younger and I had this
Yeah,
book.
me too.
Honestly, because it is, I think when you're younger and you have your life ahead, this would have been perfect. I would have loved, that's a good guide. That's just what I want to throw in real quick.
But now you're 30 years older and wiser. So
Right.
you'll make fewer mistakes than someone 30 years older than you would make.
But I also find that,
Mhm.
you know, like sometimes you say, write 20 things down, and I can't do that quickly. So, you know,
Okay.
I'm a little slower with all that. I
So,
might have
well, again, you had to use the book the way it was, right? So you don't necessarily need to write 20 things down. You could say 5 things or 10 things.
You know, I'd like to back up what Susan said, because for one thing, I guess when I started reading the book, well, even today, even I read it and I say, well, I'm so old now. You know,
Mm.
all these things either I've already changed, or, you know, it just, you know, I don't see that many people. I don't do that many things anymore. And, but you know, when you start reading it and you get into it, then you start realizing that no, it applies to you also. It applies to everyone. And what you said about writing things down, you know, I'll get a question that he has, or a place where he says, you know, like write down, what did he say in that picture? 5 negative things that have happened to you in your life, you know, that have affected you or whatever. And, you know, when I first started writing, I'm like, I don't have any negative things,
Good.
you know, and I start writing them. I write down, you know, well, everybody knows this, my childhood. And then I start, and then all of a sudden they start coming up. And then I realized, like, COVID is I'm sorry, Aurora Rose is a negative thing, but out of that negative thing, I have found a beautiful family and a beautiful life. So your book makes you think about it, and that's amazing. That's amazing that there's something that can, a tool that can help you do that, to see, you know.
Yes. And there's a chapter 7, about adopting an attitude of gratitude.
Mhm.
That reminds you of the learnings you might have from things which at the time might seem negative. I was on a weekend retreat. Actually, no, it's a 5-day retreat last week from Wednesday till Sunday. And there was 25 of us from all around the world, mainly from the US and Europe. And there was a lady who spoke about having been diagnosed with MS a few years back. So her life was very different after the diagnosis than before. And she was absolutely amazing. Actually, she was so positive, and she said, okay, it was tough at the beginning, but now she had the mindset of seeing the opportunity in that challenge. So her condition necessitates that she slows down more, takes things more easily, And she said she's so much more relaxed and she's so much more full of life now because she's absorbing it fully now. She's not, maybe if she was 30 years younger or somebody 30 years younger, then I might have been running around doing lots of different things and having lots of ideas which might not necessarily be in line with their values. But now she's like amazing. That was the really great sharing she made to the rest of the people on the retreat about how every challenge has an opportunity if you can just be open enough and gracious enough to see it.
I loved step 2. I mean, I never clarify your values. That was so beautiful because I never really sat down and thought about my values. You know, I thought, yeah, integrity, don't lie, stuff like this. But you so beautifully gave those examples and they made me sit down and think, what are my values? So I appreciate that. It was a nice framework, you know.
One of the things I've learned since doing my work, my coaching work, every client I ever coached has ultimately come back to this. They want to make a difference in the world. They want to make an impact in the world. So I really believe all our values ultimately are very similar. We all have this desire to give back, desire to make a difference. And somehow, some people are very lucky. They discover this at a young age that they want to do this. Some of us have to wait till 30 years later that we want to make a difference to others. And I think the human values are the same. The core values are around generosity, giving, wanting to make a difference. But somewhere along the way, we lose our way. We get involved in day-to-day life, and maybe, the lack of a better word, maybe the ego kicks in, and we get lost along the way. We get involved in the wrong jobs with the wrong people, and then 30 years down the line, realize actually this is what's more important to me. I keep using that this time period, 30 years, Suzanne, because you mentioned it, but it could be 20 years, 10 years. So if I ask you then, Suzanne, 30 years ago, you're a very different person. I mean, are there things you wish you'd done then or wish you hadn't done then?
Well, that's a tough one because I keep thinking if I would have stayed in Germany, how would my path have been not coming to the US? You know, those would have been two completely different paths. And sometimes I struggle a little bit because I have 3 sisters and my mom and all my high school friends, everybody back over there, but I'm here. And here I have not a tight-knit family like I have over there. So now you're set in your way here. But I don't know, my heart is with my family, but my life and my children are over here. Yeah, I don't know if I would have done it different though. You know, I got married, I had children, work took us to the US. Maybe worked more because I only have a German associate's degree. I would have maybe worked more towards a bachelor's or a master's, something like that. Maybe do that more education. Yeah, those are the biggies.
Couple of things. You just don't know how life would have turned out had you not come there, right? Had you stayed in Germany. So you know where you're at. So if you were, when people look back, I mean, I just say to them, look, you made the best decision that you could at the time.
Yeah.
Knowledge, your awareness, your understanding you had at the time. And going back, you probably made the same decision again because you were the person then who you were then. And now looking back, you can say, I wish I had done it differently, but you can't, right? It's just, it's kind of a waste of energy as well, looking back and wishing things very different than what they are now. But knowing what you know now, what would you do next? That's the key thing. How can you use the wisdom of those last 30 years to do something differently now?
I think I'm at a major turning point right now. I'm completely redoing my life. So I guess your book is a blessing with that because it can give me some guidelines how to start a new life. Basically at this point, along with awakening, spiritual awakening, being a light worker and everything. I think I have a complete do-over coming in my life and I'm at the beginning, so I'll see where it leads me.
Yeah, amazing. So it's actually a really good place to be in because you got 4 other people here with you. If you want to bounce ideas off us or want our input, or maybe we can all collectively coach you, it's a great opportunity for you to really play with this if you wanted to.
Yeah.
Is there any way we can support you or guide you? Or
Yeah, definitely. This whole group, my Angelic River family, they are definitely, Terry and all my friends here, there. And then I have a couple friends here that I can talk to as well. So yes, I feel like a baby. I'm just learning to get up and take steps
Excellent.
and walk.
So what would serve you right now?
You know what? Just learning. At the moment, I'm actually getting my GED because my German degree is not acknowledged here in the States. I can't use it at all. I have training from Germany, but I have nothing here. So I'm working on my GED and then I decide what I will do work-wise. So that's my next steps is education.
So in case anyone else watching is wondering what's GED, what is GED?
It's like a high school diploma.
Okay. And you got kids? Kids are all grown up?
Yeah, I have a 19 and a 23-year-old. Yeah.
Okay. So imagine they could read the book now as well.
Yeah, absolutely. That would be wonderful.
Would be the ideal age, I would think.
Yes.
With
Yeah, I
somebody
agree.
to start delving into that. Yeah.
A few years back, I was invited back by my old school, primary school, again, no, secondary school. So up to the age of 18, that's the school we were at. It's equivalent to your high school. So about 20 years after I left the school, they asked me if I could come and do a talk for the kids who were all 16, 17, 18-year-olds. So I gave the same talk 8 times because they split them up in groups of 15, 20. And the talk was really things I wish I'd known when I was your age. And it was so amazing, actually. The talk was 30, 40 minutes, and they were so engaged. I mean, they didn't know me, but my nephew was in the group, which is how I was invited in the first place. So it was just amazing to see all these young kids so bright-eyed and keen and about to go out into the world and start working, go off to college. And I had a really great day with them because I just shared some of my learnings and I said, look, this is what I'd love to do if I was in your place. And so there's so much potential they have at that time. Literally, I think you probably know the phrase, the world is your oyster. But conversely now, I'm guessing things are much harder for young people now than when we were all the same age, especially because of all the things going on right now. So, but I know that no matter what, they'll all be fine as well. Like we all turned out okay, right? We all had our challenges, our adventures, but we all turned out okay. So they will as well. What I can do is I think I got an article, a blog article about that visit to the school. So I'll send it to Terry and she can share it with you guys. And there's something else I wrote down. There's a great TED talk I watched only a few days back about bringing your bucket list forward. So the speaker, it's a short TED talk, it's about 10 minutes. And she's somebody who'd worked a lot in hospices with people who are dying. And she talks about how there's so much regret at the end of their lives. So people want to bring things forward. So all of us should really bring things forward in 2021 rather than keeping it long term. Bring your bucket list forward. Don't wait till a few years from now.
Oh, I totally agree with that. Totally. I feel like I'm living my bucket list every day of my life.
Yeah, you're traveling, right? You sort of never in one city for long.
Yeah. But the other thing I wanted to say about bucket lists is look at what you've already accomplished. What have you already done?
Yeah.
And be proud of your accomplishments and those things that you have found joy in life. That will help. I think in chapter 10, you talked about being positive and how do we maintain that positive attitude? And one thing that does help me is to reflect back on the things that were a very happy time in my life, or some place that I went where it was just magnificent in the beauty and in the experience there. We can pull on those resources at any time when we go into some of what we're experiencing right now, the lockdowns and the limits in life. So I really appreciated looking back at some of the things and really reflecting on some of the things that I have done, and then looking forward to what else is coming. And I don't even have any clue what that might be for me. I'm just like taking it every moment right now at a time and letting whatever turns up, turn up. And I just want to say, Arvind, that Carrie is watching. She's not on here on Zoom. I don't know
Oh,
why.
great.
But
Join
she
us,
is
Carrie.
watching, and she
Hi,
says
Carrie.
hello, and she sends hugs to you from Tennessee.
Right.
And she just said that she needs a new bucket list.
Yeah, she needs to come and visit.
Probably
She needs to
a
visit London soon again.
I agree. Yeah.
I think I'm going to share the story about Kerry again, because 4 years back, I had my place on Airbnb, and I had this music producer from Los Angeles stay at my place for a couple of weeks with his son. And where I live, I'm near to Abbey Road Studios, which some of you might know, is where the Beatles did their recordings. And so he said, look, I'll get you on the guest list so you can come and observe what we're doing. And Kerry, I knew, was going to be in town from Liverpool. She flew into Liverpool, and then she was coming to London for a couple of days. And I managed to get Kerry on the guest list as well. It was just incredible. She showed up. I said, look, meet me at Abbey Road Studios at the Beatles Crossing. And then we went into the studio, and then we were both able to go in. It was just a magical moment. And there was a 54-piece orchestra recording film soundtracks. So we were able to be part of that for 2 days. It was just incredible. And I've never met Kerry before, except through Facebook. And so funny how simple connection resulted in something so magical a couple of years down the line. I think Kerry was the one who bought my book, and that's how we connected in the first place. So amazing
Yes.
how the magic happens.
Yeah, she wanted to connect the two of us. And after she did and we talked, then I realized that this would be a great book for
So
everyone.
so that was 4 years back. And later that year, I was in Atlanta visiting my brother in Georgia. And Kerry's in Tennessee, just down the road. Well, by US standards, just down the road. And she came to visit me, and she arranged for me to do a book event in a spiritual bookstore. And it was just, again, the magic just happened, you know. So little baby steps that all of you are planting now. You just don't know what's going to happen in the end, what that's going to lead to.
I really liked the book, and each chapter has value in it. And I would like to go back and read it again, maybe in 6 months or a year, as I grow from this to see how to take more steps. And on a personal level, I like to clear the clutter from your life, because I have paper clutter, mind clutter, all kinds of clutter. And not surprisingly, I procrastinate at the same time, which is where I get a lot of the clutter. And there are several chapters that address that. And this may not seem significant, but as trying to put it into practice, yesterday I had a doctor's appointment, and it's close by. And I always leave 10 minutes early. It's right around the corner. So I left 20 minutes early. And I took my time, and I didn't feel like I had to rush to get there. And I wasn't stressed when I got there. My blood pressure was lower. The doctor and I had a better visit. And it was more relaxing overall. And I wasn't saying I should have left earlier. And I have a lot of negative self-talk, I realize, and I make my own situations. So I said, okay, if I'm doing procrastinating today, what can I change today? Instead of saying, what can I change tomorrow? So I did that one little action, and it was had nice domino effect all through the day. Other nice things kept happening because I was already in a better frame of mind or a better mood. So it's practical as well as inspirational.
Excellent. So what I'm hearing, Linda, is it's also about being kinder to yourself.
Yes.
Because all the self-talk we have, we can either talk to ourselves positively or negatively, and by you allowing yourself more time, that's one way of being kind to yourself.
Right. And also eliminated some of the negative self-talk, like you're saying, which is clutter in my mind.
Yeah.
So it eliminated some of the mind clutter just by not adding it to the mix.
There's also this as well. We all have one of these now.
Uh-huh.
That causes so much clutter. All the digital stuff coming in, bombarding us all sides. It's just crazy. And
Yeah.
your kids, Suzanne, they're probably even more attached to this than maybe we are.
My
I mean,
younger
the young
daughter.
people.
My
Yeah.
younger daughter. My older isn't at all. She's not on Facebook, no social media. She's 23. My younger one is more on the internet. Yeah, I can say that.
It's a great tool, but it's taken over our lives to the extreme, really. So are you guys sort of straining yourself to be off it and limiting your time on it?
Mhm.
Because one of the things we talked about at the beginning was the chapter 14, striving for excellence. So something like this doesn't help you if you're constantly spending your time on social media, for example. That's where your time is just going to go, and you're not going to be able to have any time for the things you want. I mean, I find if I'm on it for about 3-4 hours a day, which I can be sometimes because of work, I feel that is that. I just need to go and lie down or go and get some fresh air. And so it's working out what works for you as well.
And it's all about balance.
It's about balance, yeah.
Yeah, if I've noticed that I haven't gotten up in an hour because I'm either at the computer or on the phone, then it's that self-awareness that I'm not doing a good job at balancing my time and balancing my energy between whatever the tasks are that I have for the day. You have to have time to enjoy life. You really do. And like you said, going outside, even just walk outside and get some fresh air.
In nature. Yeah.
And that's one of the themes which I think comes through the book throughout, is about celebration, enjoyment, spending time in nature, coming from a good space of wanting to make a difference to others, celebrating others in your life, in your abundance, whatever that could be as simple as a cup of tea or something more, or just sharing your presence in some way. There's so much we can do for others and ourselves if we come from that mindset of wanting to contribute and celebrating life, because life is too short. I mean, I know 3 friends who lost a loved one this year because of COVID. I mean, beginning of the year or this time last year, who would have known this was going to happen, right? So
There's no guarantees.
the only certainty is uncertainty, or something like that. So the Buddha said that.
I just had that thought yesterday. I thought to myself, when is the last time you really had fun? Because between 20-something years of raising kids, which alone sucks you into this, finally they graduated high school, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, I want to have fun. And if it can be simple, like horseback riding, like a trail ride, kayaking, or, some simple things that I can really do because they're around, or visit a friend. And I'm going to do that. I decided for myself, I'm going to have some fun.
So tell us some of the things you'll be doing next year.
Definitely, I love trail rides, which I don't do enough. I love horses, always have. So I want to do a couple of trail rides. I want to go, we have a river. I want to go canoeing, I guess. It's the safer choice. I want to visit a few people from the Angelic River family, whoever, I could go see. I still have friends in Florida. I used to live there. I want to stop there. I don't even know what, I mean, I know I'm not going to jump out of airplanes. That's too. But I'm going to challenge myself and do some stuff. I'm just stuck here at home, not having fun. And I'm a glorified nanny for our dogs. We have 4 dogs and they occupy me all day. And I got to change that. Something's got to happen.
So you got at least 3 of the 4 people watching this, and whoever's online. So we all witness to your promises to yourself.
Yeah.
One of the things you said that really impressed me, that hit home, was stop trying to fix things. You stop trying to fix things, make things right. That's a problem with me. And, and Susan, maybe you too, I don't know, with your children, you keep trying to fix things. And, you can't do that. You have to let them fix their own things. And sometimes when you want to help, just being there, just holding space, just, giving them your love is enough. You don't have to fix it. You can't fix everything. And that
Can't
really,
fix anything, right? You can't fix anyone.
yeah. So that really, really hit home with me. You
I
know.
can relate. That's a big one I'm going through still right now because my daughter has some issues with depression, anxiety, and OCD. And she tried college and she couldn't, and at the moment she's at home. And I mean, I know I need to help her with certain things, like taking her to therapy and stuff, but I'm taking it on too much. And I just really got to take a huge step back and say, I lovingly support you, but I also got to do a little self-care and, take care of myself. So that's a balance, Jean. That's very different.
Exactly. Yeah, it's a balance.
So Suzanne, it sounds like there's more self-care for you next year, or let's say it's 2021.
Immediately, already
Yeah.
started.
Yeah. One of the exercises I did with some friends recently, we met up because we haven't really seen each other for a while, and so much of our life, like a lot of people, has been very constrained. So we made a list of 20 things that we want to do next year. Simple things like having a picnic in the park and going to watch a movie together and going to watch a show in the West End together. I mean, it might seem like very simple, but suddenly it's become so important now because we haven't had a chance to do it. We value it so much more.
Mhm.
So our bucket list is not like travel the world or anything like that. It's very simple, but it's going to be very special. And maybe that's what all of us need to do, all of you need to do, is just look at doing some certain things which you might have taken for granted this year, before this year, and then do them next year. Or
Definitely. Last year in October, I was in Germany. I didn't
There
know
you
what
go.
was coming. It's so easily. I would have appreciated way more that visit with my mom and my sisters. I didn't know I can't come back for who knows how long. I keep saying that. I wish I would have known, but I guess,
hopefully be able to visit next year, next summer, spring, summer.
yeah.
But something that Jean said about looking after yourself and not fixing. So it's two ways of approaching, isn't it? You can try and fix someone. When you try and fix someone, they get it that you're trying to fix them. And that means they know or they think that you're making them wrong. Whereas if you come from a place of wanting to contribute to them, that's a very different energy, that's a very different approach. So you're coming from a place of loving rather than making them wrong. Place of contribution rather than trying to fix them. It's a very different heart set and mindset.
That was a big lesson for me as well, too, because I always want people to be happy. I want them to be healthy. I want them to have the best experience in life. So if I see that, there's maybe a word that I can say or something that I can give them that will fix them, quote, I had to really come to realize that nobody needs to be fixed.
No.
We're all living our own script. We're all living our own movie and learning our own lessons. So if I'm looking at somebody as needing to be fixed, that's a judgment call on my part.
Yeah.
And I have to just allow them to live their movie the way it's going to be played out for them.
Yeah. And how do we know that we got the right viewpoint? What gives us the right to be correct?
Yeah, Christina's watching. She says, she's reminding us that Karen Palmer always says, mind your own vibrations.
Good one. Yeah.
But it is hard when you watch somebody self-destruct.
It is.
That's a very hard one to just step out of that, trying to fix it into you're old enough, that's really tough, I think.
It is.
So what about the rest of you? What's on your horizon next? Jean, Linda, in terms of, if you like, your bucket list for the next 12 months?
It's interesting when you asked the question, well, you said ask to write down the 5 things that you will start doing in the next 14 days. My top one was take time for me. My second one was look at my schedule and maybe rearrange it. My second one was meditate, and my fourth one was go to nature. And this is the one that's been hurting me a lot, is go to nature, because I've always gone I live in the middle of the desert. And not that the desert isn't beautiful. It is beautiful in its own way. But I have to have trees and water and animals and birds and, around me. And even though I've got a garden, I've tried to make it my little oasis. I need to go to the mountains. I need to do that. And I haven't been able to do it for so long. And I have to do it at least a couple times a year and just stay there for a few days. And I always used to tell my students, we need nature. We're a part of nature.
Yeah.
And we've become unnatural these days in our modern times because we've separated ourselves from what is natural. And so that's like a bomb. You just have to do it. Now, some people live in places where they can go on a walk and have the same effect. You can't here. And I live in the city, and you just really can't. So that's the top of my bucket list right now. Is go to the mountains, go to nature, and recharge myself, reconnect with that.
The word unnatural sounds like unnature.
Exactly. That's what I would tell students. Yeah.
Yeah, mine is basically the same. I love to travel and especially visit relatives and friends. And I would like to meet people that I've met online here in the couple different groups. And just, I was born in Maine and I just love it there. I feel that's where I should be and I'm at home there. So I would love to go up there this summer, and it's like the real me and I can finally relax. So I would love to go there. I still have some family there, and that's
Up in
basically
Pennsylvania, it's underway.
okay. I'll stop.
And it's beautiful where Suzanne is.
I bet. There's so many places to see and so much to do.
Yeah. Maybe you can all go to Germany next year with Suzanne.
Yeah, I offered. I'm the tour guide. I worked as a tour guide in Europe. I'll take you everywhere.
And of course, then you can visit London as well.
Yes. Yeah.
Carrie
show
says
you.
Carrie's manifesting her next trip back to see Arvind.
Oh, there you go.
Nice.
In June, so maybe we can all
Yeah,
save
cool.
our pennies and go with her.
There you
Carrie, we're
go.
coming.
There you go. We put it out there.
I'd love to go to Germany, Suzanne.
Yeah.
That's where my ancestors are from. My maiden name is Metzger.
Oh yeah, Metzger. That's a butcher.
Yes.
Yeah. That's lovely. Germany. There is so much to see. I love to go with you all. Like I said, I have no problem if we get a group together. We'll go. I show you Germany. I love
There
it.
you go.
Well, I think we need to make a
Canada.
group bucket list and we'll
I think-
start checking them off. Yeah.
I think we
Travel
just
the
did
world.
London and Germany next summer in June with Carrie and all five of us.
Yes, Arvind, you will be our London and England tour guide, right?
Very
Right.
happily, yeah.
Good.
There we go. It's done. And anyone else who's watching this as well. So there's Carrie. So there's 6 of us at least.
And Kathy just came on and says hello to us all. And
Hey
Kathy
there.
on Zoom with us.
Hi, Kathy.
I know she would go.
Oh, yes.
I know this is amazing what can manifest from a simple conversation like this.
Yeah, Christina said she's up for it
Yeah.
too. She's manifesting to travel soon. So yeah, let's just make a group bucket list and
Yeah,
just
one of the
check
things,
off those things.
one of my life-changing experiences was helping out at this charity school in South India. I was there for a month, and then when I came back 6 months later, I was on a London train, and there was a girl from New Zealand. Obviously, I didn't know where she was from at the time, but we just got chatting because the trains were running late. We were sitting next to each other. We got chatting, and we were together for one stop. So for literally 3 minutes. In that time, we talked about what we did, and I mentioned I'd just been to India and been to this school. So we swapped cards. I gave her my card, and as a result of that quick 2-3 minute conversation, she went out to India to the charity school I was involved in for 14 months.
Wow.
So you never know what a simple conversation could lead to.
Exactly.
Because that was on a Friday evening, and she happened to be on that train by sheer coincidence because she lived out of London. And 2 days later, I was in central London again. I bumped into her again, completely random. It was like bizarre. And then we met up for tea, and then I told her about the school in more details, gave her the website. And 2 weeks later, literally, because she told me then she was going back home to New Zealand and she'd been learning Latin Spanish. Her plan was to go westwards and spend 6 months in South America and then go back home. So after our conversation about the school, she rang me and she said, I just need to know where I need to go for the school because I'm going there. So she changed her entire life trajectory. She went eastwards to India, spent 14 months in India and at the school, and then went home. All because of one very simple 2-3 conversation on a train. So you never know what the conversation we had could lead to.
Yeah, absolutely.
So true.
In fact, I even talk about this in the book. So it's one of the chapters. I'll send you the link, Terry, about this experience at the school and all the things that happened as a result.
Thank you. And I hate to be the taskmaster because I'm enjoying this so much, but I think we do have something coming on at 2:00 Eastern on this channel. So let's just see if there's anything else that you all want to ask Arvind while we have him here with us. And Arvind, I just want to really thank you and appreciate you for being here with us today. And
It's been
sharing
really,
it.
I mean, again, thanks to Kay that this connection came about, and she's been a really good friend over the years, and she's been a great PR agent as well for me because she loves the book so much. She shares with other people and creates a community like this. And I know one thing we said at the beginning, we want to talk about chapter 14. So I just wanted to say recently, about a year ago, actually, not recently, I wrote a new chapter, a new blog post about exactly this, striving for excellence. So I'll send it to Terry and I'll put it in the Facebook video call later on. So you can see the article about that. That takes the chapter to a new level. And something else I'm doing soon actually is I'm creating a course based on the book as well. So I can send you details of that. It'll be an online course for 8 weeks. I'm calling it Make It Happen in 8 weeks. So the idea is to help people with one particular goal, if you like, in the new year. It could be a new resolution, or it could be just one goal that they want to work on over 8 weeks. So again, I can share the details with you for that.
Thank you.
Nice.
You're part of that community.
Yeah, I'll pass it on.
And the idea is to help people put 2020 behind them and start fresh in the new year. We can all do the fresh start, but we already have a fresh start, right? We're all going to meet up in Europe next June, so something to look forward to.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So any last questions before we wrap up?
I just want to say thank you. It's
Thank
a
you.
wonderful book.
Yeah, thank you.
I mean,
Great.
what I'll do, I'll share my email address in the chat box on Facebook.
Okay.
Okay.
Get in touch with me, and if you want to have a deeper conversation about some of the things we talked about, maybe I can send you, Suzanne, I can send you some resources to support your daughter. And I'm going to send you an amazing video by a teacher called Dick Battinger. He talks about how to be fully present when you meet horses in the field. So I think you'll love that, Suzanne.
Yeah, great. Yeah.
They're very sensitive to the human beings.
Yeah.
So I'll share that with you as well.
Thank
Yeah,
you.
I'd like that too.
Yeah.
I'll share it in the group then, in the
Okay.
Yeah, we
video
can put
call.
the book club group, and that way we all have them. Oh, Arvind, thank
So,
you.
but thank you again. Thank you
This
guys.
is
And
really
Thank you.
valuable. Yeah, we really appreciate you. And I certainly appreciate the book. It's very helpful. And
Definitely.
every moment that I spend in it, it's like takes me different places where I really need to look at things in my life. So thank you so much for being here.
And thank you as well for the feedback, because I've been reflecting on the book and I also want to get a new updated version of it. So I know that I don't need to update too much of it. I just need to bring it up to, just need to change a few things, mention things like social media but when the book is slightly revamped, I'll send it to you again, Terry, and you can share it with the group.
Okay, and we have someone in the audience asking for the name of the book because she missed the beginning. It's Get the Life You Love and Live It by Arvind Devalia, who is here with us, the author of the book, and you can find that on Amazon. So thank you all again for
Let's
being
get a
here.
big smiley image of your big smile. I'll share this in the group. Thank you.
Thank you, Arvind. We really appreciate you. And ladies, I love you so much. Thank you for being with us and everyone in the audience.
Yeah.
We're here every week with the book club meeting. So join us next Wednesday at the same time. Bye, everybody.
Bye everyone. Bye.